G'day guys, welcome to my Rxys VT video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Hyundai Aleague recap for 2019 guys, so let's get started. So this first match of that game, we see the Sydney FC going up against the Newcastle Jets. I think that this game, excuse me for that, I reckon one of these games though could be one of the greatest games of that time. But Sydney FC are a very good team, but in that formation of that pack, you usually get Sydney FC in that formation, but sometimes they can be very spreading out, and then they can be very sloppy in the defense. But Newcastle Jets though, I don't know about you guys, because what I can tell is, I'm not sure if I can say this, Newcastle Jets need to have that formation right, because they're just not winning any games in this match. It was a 4-1 scoreline, but Sydney FC have just made it 4-1. And really, Sydney FC have won that game by a total of 4-1 in that match. But I'd say Sydney FC need to have that formation into that pack anyway. Because what I can say is, Sydney FC are a great team, but they just need to learn to have that consistency right. But, although, what a great game for Sydney FC, but unlucky for the Newcastle Jets, because they have lost that match. But moving on to the Newcastle Jets, what I can say is, the Newcastle Jets are a great team, but sometimes they can be into that formation where they can lose, and sometimes win a game. But, they've lost the game for this match anyway, up against the Sydney FC. But what I can definitely tell to you guys that Sydney FC are a great team, but Newcastle Jets aren't. So, into this game, I reckon into that formation, Newcastle Jets weren't right in that game, so I did actually go for the Sydney FC. But I was predicting the 4-1 scoreline, and I obviously did. And that match was absolutely a great match, and I did predict 4-1 into that scoreline. But yeah, what an absolute great match to see. Sydney FC going up against Newcastle Jets. But great game it was, and well done to the Sydney FC, but unlucky for the Newcastle Jets anyway. The next game of that match, we see the Western Sydney Wanderers going up against the Brisbane Roar. What I can tell to you guys that Western Sydney Wanderers can be a very good side, and what I can definitely tell to you guys that if this side can be a very good side, it's the Western Sydney Wanderers. But into this match, there was nothing into the scoreline, because it was a 0-0 scoreline, and no one has scored for this match anyway. But what I can definitely tell to you guys that this game was an absolute hard game to watch, and what I can definitely tell you guys that I can say the Western Sydney Wanderers are a great side, because they've got a very tough team to beat any other team. But what I can definitely tell that Western Sydney Wanderers can be very striking forward into that game, and really they can strike any momentum into that pack anyway. But what I can definitely tell to you guys that it was an absolutely great game. But gotta tell that Brisbane Roar didn't work into that match, and what I could definitely tell to you guys, Brisbane Roar are not very good in attacking defense. But what I could definitely say is, Brisbane Roar can be very heartbreaking team to say that, like, really, like, hard game to say that really they could be a very excruciating of a team. And really, what I can definitely tell to you guys, I just think that Brisbane Roar need to lift up their game and just bring a team that just brings the talent, brings that X factor, and really just brings that heart into that match. But what I can definitely tell to you guys that Western Sydney Wanderers are a great team, but Brisbane Roar are a great team. But really, what I can definitely say is, I recommend Brisbane Roar need to lift up their game. So only because that they just need to say that into that formation, they can absolutely improve. But Western Sydney Wanderers, they can absolutely definitely improve, because I have seen them and they are an absolutely great team to watch. The next game of this round, we see the Melbourne Victory going up against the Western United. I think that this game was a brilliant game to watch and brilliant game to see. But really, what I can definitely tell to you guys, that this formation absolutely impressed me, because Western United are a very good club and they just keep growing and growing. But this team is a very new team for this year anyway. But what I can definitely say is Melbourne Victory weren't playing as very hard as they were, but sometimes they can definitely win but lose a game. But I don't really know if they can just have that X factor and just really just attack like the running meters like into that match, and obviously like get a couple of goals, I'd say. But what I can definitely tell to you guys, that it was an absolutely great match, but it was a 3-2 scoreline. Western United obviously won that game, and I just tell you that it was an absolutely wonderful game to watch and a brilliant game to see. But definitely what I can say is well done to the Western United for winning that game, but unlucky for the Melbourne Victory anyway. But I could say this, that this game was a brilliant match and a brilliant game to see. But I just love it how Western United can just improve very well. They can attack into that formation, and that formation sometimes can be 4-4-2, 5-5-2, or 5-5-1. Or maybe like 3-3-1. But sometimes they can have like a 4-4-1 or 3-3-1. But really, what I can definitely tell to you guys, it was an absolutely great match. And I love the Western United club, because they are a branch out team that absolutely brought into the season, and obviously giving this win out to the Western United club. I give you guys a shout out, and really well done to you guys that obviously won this game and very improved very well, and it wasn't perfection. I'll tell you but what I could say is I love how Western United can be very improving, and they could just grow into a great team into that formation. And yeah, 3-2 the scoreline was, and Western United won that match anyway, but Melbourne Victory obviously lost. The next game of that match, we see the Melbourne City going up against the Wellington Phoenix. I think that this game, well done to Melbourne City. I just think Melbourne City are an absolutely great team, and what I can definitely tell you guys, that this game was an absolutely brilliant match and brilliant game to see. But Melbourne City can be a very good club and a branch out looking team. But what I can say is Wellington are a very good club, but sometimes they can be a very sloppy team that just basically has no defense and just attacks very terrible. Sorry for that. But what I can definitely tell you guys, that Wellington Phoenix need to improve, because it's just disgusting how the way they can branch out, and then sometimes they can have that formation and just have that sloppy defense, but it just doesn't work out. I just think that this game, though, was an absolutely brilliant match for the Melbourne City to get a win against the Wellington Phoenix. But it was a 3-2 scoreline, and Melbourne City obviously won that game. But well done to the Melbourne City anyway. They are a great team. But I just say this, that Wellington Phoenix, you guys need to have that improved, because sometimes it's just very hard to say that if you want to grow into that formation, you guys need to have that formation into that defense playing really well. But what I can definitely tell is Melbourne City are a great team. Jamie McLaren is absolutely having a brilliant game. He is a top-notch player. He is the key moment of the game to watch. But what I could say is this: I love how Melbourne City are an absolutely great club and a great team to watch. But really, Wellington Phoenix need to grow a team, like, need to grow of their defense. And really what I can say is, if they need to grow their defense, they need to grow obviously into that formation and attack very well. But they are just a sloppy team. But unfortunately though, I'm just gonna say that Wellington Phoenix need to improve really well into that attacking defense. But well done to Melbourne City anyway. 3-2 the scoreline was, and yeah, well done to you guys. The next game of that round, we see the Perth Glory going up against the Central Coast Mariners. I think that this game was an absolutely brilliant match. I was surprised that this game, the Central Coast Mariners won this match. 2-1 the scoreline was. I just think it was a brilliant match to watch. But really, what I can say is this. You guys just absolutely surprised me. I think that this game, though, was a brilliant match to watch and brilliant game to see. But I'd say that Perth Glory, you guys are a great team, but it was just not your night to say that Central Coast Mariners obviously won that game. Like, I'd just say that it was a surprising win anyway. And what I can say also, that Central Coast Mariners have new players all the time, and it's just wonderful to see that Central Coast Mariners are a branching team into that attacking of the match. But sometimes playing in a role is an absolutely playing into it, an absolutely great player. But really what I can say is also is that Central Coast Mariners are a great team, but they are growing into a great formation and obviously into a great squad of an absolutely great club. But what I can say also is that Central Coast Mariners are a great side of a game, and what I can say also is that well done to the Central Coast Mariners for getting this win. It was a 2-1 scoreline, and obviously Central Coast Mariners obviously won that game. Unlucky for the Perth Glory side. I was going to say that Perth Glory, if you guys would have won that game, I would definitely be very happy, but I was surprised that the Central Coast Mariners won that game. I was so just disappointed obviously for that match, but I am obviously from the Central Coast. But yeah, Central Coast Mariners obviously won that game at Perth. HBF Park anyway, that's what the stadium is called in Perth anyway. But yeah, great game it was. Perth Glory need to grow their formation, and Central Coast Mariners, good job for you guys that obviously won that game 2-1. And yeah, well done to the Central Coast Mariners. Thanks guys for watching my video, guys. Stay tuned for more. I will be doing a couple of videos coming to you soon. The NRL International recap will be coming to you guys very, very soon. I will be doing that very soon. But yeah, that's all for me, folks. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe to this video. And yeah, thanks guys for watching this video. Until then, take care and have a good one.